Welcome to a brand new series I'm calling What in the Heck Is This? It's a working title, I'm not married to it. Today we're going to talk about the deadliest animal known to man. Well, second deadliest, if we include man itself. Portuguese for small fly. Yes, almost nobody's favourite six-legged blood-sucking fly, pest. Emphasis on almost, I know there's some twisted people out there. Is the subject of the first video in this series. I mean, wow. Look at him go. Who wouldn't want to be what's essentially a massive pub with outdoor seating and free drink for this insect vampire? Pretty much everyone, excluding certain activists and researchers. No, seriously, look it up. There's people out there bracking it for a mosquito bite. It, in this case, being your immune system. Fucking idiots. Someone's got to do it. Outside of these two groups, I think it's fair to say that when most people come into contact with a mosquito, that's what I'm calling them now, just deal with it. They adopt a swat, squash, or smack first and ask questions later approach. Pretty thirsty, yeah?
You're just gonna watch this whole thing, bro.
Now, mosquitoes have 4 defined stages in their life cycle: egg, larva, pupa, before finally emerging from said pupa as a fully grown mosquito, which basically makes them a butterfly without pretty privilege, or a moth that sucks blood. They start off as an egg in a clutch with up to 300 of their brothers and sisters, and these eggs are laid on the water. Yes, you heard that correctly. You can't even drown these pricks because water is basically a mosquito nursery, which I guarantee if you swim in streams regularly, wherever you are, you definitely have, because they're like tiny grains of dirt. So yeah, hold that. The eggs, when they hatch, they need water, and that's only hatching because they don't actually need the water to survive. Sometimes they lay their eggs on just soil. Yeah, the grubby stuff, just fucking soil, far from any water, because why not? Let them flex, bro. And they can be in them conditions for months and will only hatch when they get flooded with water. And ladies and gentlemen, this is where the weird shit starts. The egg hatches and a larva wriggles out. That's actually their nickname. Certain men are calling baby mosquitoes pet names. Can never be me. I guess mosquito kind of is a pet name. Not sure that's making the edit. Actually, yes it will, because I'm authentic. And even at this early stage of life, some of these guys are bastards. This stage only lasts between 4 to 14 days typically, but that's enough time for these sadists to demonstrate that their fuck shit is hereditary. Ain't no choice. That's unfair. Some of them be doing normal other shit, like eating bacteria, microorganisms and whatnot. We're gonna call these the normies. But some of these brothers, cannibalism. Can't make this shit up. There are species of mosquito that only make it to adulthood by eating the larva of other mosquitoes. This is why humans get on my tits, bro. Human babies are born and they're like, wah, wah, screaming and shit. Like, it's tea, bro. Wah, it's cold in here. These niggas come out that egg and they mash and work immediately, expeditiously. They're not waiting for Marge to raise. This brother was born seconds ago and he's already eating arse. Fucking hell. And you might be thinking, hey, how do these guys breathe underwater? Well, I mean, that's what I wonder. I'll tell you right now, free of charge, the answer as well. So there's 2 ways they can get the air they need. First is pretty tame, they just absorb the oxygen through their body. But the other? The other way is they breathe through their booty hole. These future bloodsuckers hang upside down, much like their mammalian equivalent, and whine per the water surface, sucking in the air like a snorkel. It's pretty much a reverse fart that they have to do so they don't die. So if your nose is blocked, be thankful. Cause it could be worse. As a larva, they have 4 distinct stages called instars, which I'm not doing a nitty gritty for. Allow it. It's basically a fancy word for shedding. The larva grows, it sheds. It's the whole thing. Once they finish the 4th instar, they develop a pupa. 3rd stage of the mosquito life cycle. This stage generally lasts around 4 days, depending on the water temperature, with heat being an accelerant. Come on, obviously. Gosh, motherfucker, damn it, those mosquito files have done it again. The pupa, known to friends and family as a tumbler, is named so because they move in a flipping motion when diving for safety. And it's the only form a mosquito could take where there's a slight possibility of sympathy. Because imagine this, right? You hatch from your egg in stinky ass water that don't go anywhere. The only food around is little microbes and whatnot, or I guess your siblings. And you make it through that bleak George Miller apocalyptic ass wasteland. Form a pupa, which is supposed to be the site you metamorphosis into an adult. But whilst you're going through puberty, and I'm sorry, but that's just the most suitable word for the context. Like, am I gonna completely restructure the whole sentence? Anyway, you're going through puberty and you've got to breathe through a tube-like thing called a trumpet. Trumpet? And you still got to watch out for shit trying to eat you. Like fish and dragonflies and fucking frogs and spiders and shit. And your sibling. Your sibling rivalry goes crazy. But if that plucky little pupa can survive them 4 days, that knows hard to say. Then hot dog, we got ourselves a full-grown blood bandit. The 4th and final stage of the life cycle. Now there's over 350 discovered. That says 3,500. That's a lot. Do you reckon they have racehorse? Oh, fine, he's back. And still feeding. Wow. What? No, it's
just what? Pussy.
Anyway, I bet you're thinking, fuck me, that's a lot of bugs. Or maybe you're not. I don't know. I'm neither a gambling man nor a psychic. Either way, it's a lot of bugs. Don't worry, it's not that many bugs. There's only 110 trillion of them on the planet. Now, full disclosure, that's an estimate. Like, no one's going out there and tagging each and every mosquito. And there are lower estimates. But for my agenda, I'm going with the bigger number. Makes it feel like a more urgent problem, right? To be fair, of those 3,500 mosquitoes, not all of them drink blood. Just, most of them, which if I could quantify for you, I would. But science didn't have an exact number. So my agenda is telling me to jump to the conclusion that it's probably all but 5. And the scientists are just out there like, to be fair, every single species we've studied sucks blood. But there's probably some that don't. In fact, there's only 3 branches of the mosquito family that don't feed on blood, even as adults. These are Malaya, Topomea, and, oh, God help me, Toxorynchites. More affectionately known as elephant mosquitoes, which... crystal clear thought process there. And these 3 branches have about 200 species in them. Realistically, there's 6% of mosquito species that don't drink blood. You wish I didn't do the maths on that. Well, fuck you, I did. It's not fair that only I have to live with the fear of bugs. And out of all the other species that do drink blood, only about 100 of them actually hunt humans. And I meant hunt. Syntax is important. And you might think it's not that many, especially when you consider the maths I literally just did. But 3% of 110 trillion is still 3.3 trillion. So, you scared again? And these guys are prolific hunters, bro. You know when Mickey Mouse smelled a pie so goddamn sweet that it literally lifted him and pulled him towards it by his nostrils in Walt Disney's A Little Whirlwind? Probably a million other examples. Looney Tunes. But that's almost a perfect representation of how Skittles find you. To them, you're an amalgamation of chemicals, bodily fluids and pheromones that are intoxicatingly tempting, literally riding clouds of carbon dioxide to a proverbial watering hole. Or blood hole, I guess in this case. But yeah, there's no hiding from them. There's an old myth that alcohol or aftershave keeps them away. I'm here to tell you that's 100% unfiltered, straight from the source, #1 bullshit, bro. In fact, there's evidence to show that consuming alcohol actually makes it easier for them to find you. So, probably because it increases the amount of carbon dioxide you release, raises the temperature of your skin. So instead of being an impromptu Skittle stealth mode, you become the mini Dracula equivalent of a giant golden M lighting up a cityscape. Essentially saying, please eat here, blood plunderers. So, hiding's pretty much off the table. But what about running, I hear you ask? Well, that could probably be an effective countermeasure against mosquitoes, mainly because they can only fly 1 to 1.5 miles an hour, and usually only 3 to 4 miles from where they hatch, which to be honest still has me at risk, because I can run that fast, but not that far. And it kind of makes sense. Most insects have to move their wings far enough for them to produce lift to enable flight. But if you look at skeet or wingbeat, they're really short, and it had scientists puzzled for a while. And the gist of it is, they throw them things back. Yeah, because they're shorter than what you'd expect, they have to flap them real fast to generate a vortex with enough difference in air pressure to keep themselves up. But all of that is moot, because unless you want to run into the clouds, because we just found out they ain't strong flight, they're not friends with high altitudes or strong winds, or really any wind, to be fair. Which is key, because these guys needed to be nerfed. The skill builds overpowered. Don't get too excited though, because they live pretty much everywhere. So even if you manage to outrun one cluster, you're likely to run straight into another one. And the men are desperate for a taste. So unless you live in Iceland or near the top of a mountain, which no, you don't, because you're not a goat. Also, as of October 2025, they found Mosquitoes in Iceland. So if you're watching from Iceland, unlucky, welcome to the club. So yeah, there's pretty much no escape or hiding place that I'm willing to access. Since we've come to the conclusion that these tiny fuckers aren't going anywhere, we may as well get to know them better. Like almost everything in evolutionary biology, the first appearance of Skittle is a little under debate, but the general consensus, Skittle DLC was released between 1 and 200 million years ago, which that's a very long time, and we should be thankful, because back then it wasn't just a female, everybody ate arse, and they ate dino arse, so that's like the hardest level of eating arse. Oh, it says here that they mostly fed on amphibians, which makes sense. They apparently had short mouth parts, and dino skin is pretty thick, I imagine. But yeah, these guys have been here for a minute, and they've survived multiple mass extinctions with an asteroid and rapid climate change, both cooling and heat. If they couldn't do the job, then your little sad, pathetic can of Raid is basically fart spray with bleed damage. But at least it gets worse, because now we're going to talk about the elephant mosquito in the room. The bites. We're on holiday, sun is shining, coronas are spilling, and the mosquitoes are learning. Now, I thought these guys were surgical with it. I don't know about you, but before doing some research, I thought they had like a straw on the end of their face that like acted like an elephant trunk. And as it turns out, that's exactly correct. As if. The truth is way more harrowing, and if I'm honest, way more on brand than my initial hypothesis. So instead of a trunk-like straw, mosquitoes have what science decided to call a proboscis, which, nasty as it sounds. Proboscis is basically a squirrel's mouth, and that mouth is split into a protective sheath, which they used a different word there, which covers 6 serrated stylets called facets. So rather than lips, teeth, and tongue, they got, I don't know, honeycomb bread knives, which means instead of eating like this, they eat like this. Sorry you had to see that. Well, not that sorry, because I'm leaving it in. And these mouth knives can be split into 4 distinct types. 2 maxillae, responsible for sawing through the skin, gross. 2 mandibles, charged with holding the skin apart. The labrum, which is the main tube to suck up the blood. And the hypopharynx, which injects saliva, and that's got anticoagulants and anesthetic, which suddenly makes their feeding habits more insidious. To connect the dots, the anticoagulant stops your blood from clotting. Because there's nothing worse than someone turning the tap off on a free meal. And the anesthetic, you know what, I can actually bet that one. That shit's basically spycraft. They use it to numb the area where they feed to avoid detection. What's worse than someone turning the tap off? Instant and terrible death. Feed too much?
Yeah, I fed too much.
Well, truth is, I warned you.
Shut up, bro. I don't need the truth. I need help. Now, okay. You please get the stomach pump.
So, thanks for watching. Don't know anyone made it this far. But if you did, you know that you can't run, you can't hide, and they like liver sore. So if the existential dread of being wiped out by 6-legged roommates is a feeling you felt for the first time today, then I'm sorry. But there is a cure. Press that like button, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and all that fear will go away. You're not, but you're gonna have to do it to find out. I've been here, you've been there, it's been FTS. Laters, bangs.